everybody gonna eat, okay? Everybody is gonna eat off of your coins, all right? What's up, y'all? It's Leanne Henry, and I'm back with another video. So I want to do a series. This is a brand new series. This is a part of us just becoming our bigger and better selves in 2022. And I want to do a series about real estate behind the scenes. I love things that sound really good and flow off the tongue really well. So it's going to be RE behind the scenes. Okay? RE behind the scenes. Real estate behind the scenes. And I want to talk about all the little tiny nuanced things that people don't really talk about in real estate, but they're a huge part of it, right? Everybody knows that you buy and sell properties at the very basis of what real estate is, but like, how do you choose who you network with? Or how do you choose your preferred vendors? Or how much does it really cost to be a realtor? So many small little nuanced things, how I market myself, all of that we're gonna chat about in this series. It legitimately costs a lot more money than what people think to get started in real estate, okay? If you're interested in finding out more about what it's really gonna cost you to get into the real estate business, keep watching. Today's video is sponsored by Verizon. Working from home as a real estate agent is made way easier with Verizon's fast and reliable 5G connectivity. It's essential for keeping all of my schedules and personal devices running smoothly. I also need ultra fast connections so I can continue to create more videos for my educated audience of homeowners, buyers, sellers, real estate agents, and knowledge seekers. If you need the fastest plus reliable connection, you need to look at Verizon 5G home internet. Not only have they expanded to more areas, but they have plans that start as low as $25 a month with no annual contracts. With 5G home, you'll get Disney Bundle for 6 months. That's Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, as well as Stream TV on Verizon. With 5G Home Plus, you'll get Disney Bundle for 12 months. That's Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus. Plus, you'll get $300 off of Stream TV Soundbar and Stream TV on Verizon. Hit the link below to check its availability in your area. So, I personally have been licensed for almost 5 years, okay? I'm licensed in the state of Michigan and I'm licensed in the state of Georgia. I primarily work in the state of Michigan, right? That's the one that I know the best. I know the ins and outs of it. Georgia is a newer state for me, so I'm still learning a lot of the ins and outs, but I have a lot of really great support in that area as well, right? When people talk about getting licensed in the state of Michigan, they talk about how the fact that you only need 4 hours, the classes are usually like less than $500 at the most, and then you just pay the fees to get licensed, right? Wrong. There's so much more that actually goes into it that people don't talk about that it costs, okay? When you're getting licensed, obviously you're gonna pay for that class, right? But usually the class doesn't come with your book, it doesn't come with your study materials, it doesn't come with any of the supplemental practice exams that you can take. So it's really easy for a lot of that to add up very quickly if you plan to use those additional materials. And you can't get through the class without the book. You absolutely need to buy the book. So that's a cost right there, okay? As you're going through the class, you've already paid for the class, you've paid for the book, and now you're to the point where you're paying for your study materials, another cost. You're probably gonna wanna take practice exams. When I was taking my class, I was broke. Baby girl, like I wasn't broke, you know, I still had a really good full-time job, but when I think about it in the grand scheme of things, I was broke, okay? I didn't have any additional money to spend on things that I didn't deem as necessary. So I personally didn't buy any additional study materials, but I know a lot of people who did, and it was really helpful for them, okay? Once you get through your class and you actually pass the class to have the green light to go take the state exam, you have to pay between $75 and $100 to actually apply for your license. So applying to get licensed, another fee. So once you do have the green light to go and schedule your state exam, to actually go and take the state exam is, you guessed it, another fee. Cha-ching. So by the time you've gotten to the state exam, you could have easily come out of pocket $1,000 so far. After you take your state exam and you pass, Hooray! You're a licensed realtor. Or are you? Not so fast, okay? So you actually have to find a brokerage. So some people will find a brokerage before they get licensed. So as soon as you pass your class, then you can go and find a brokerage. And then as soon as you get licensed, then they send it to that broker and you're ready to go, right? I personally waited until I passed my class to go and find my brokerage, but to each its own, you know? So when you actually do find your brokerage, you have to take into consideration the fees that your individual brokerage has, right? So some brokerages will have an initiation fee, okay? And that can range from $150 to $1,000 or anything in between, whatever the brokerage wants to charge for your initial initiation fee to be a part of their brokerage and be onboarded, okay? So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. That is also another fee. What does that brokerage charge monthly? Do they charge you anything monthly? What comes along with those monthly fees? So some brokerage will charge you a monthly fee that includes access to your CRM. That includes use of a transaction coordinator. That includes a certain amount of leads that you get per month. That includes office space. That includes printing with the computer, whether it's color copies or black and white copies. You have to think about all of those things and what is included in that monthly fee that you're paying. Usually, the higher the fees, the more, perks that you get. So if you're going with a discount brokerage, keep in mind that you're probably going to be spending a lot more money on your own and various technologies, various softwares or things to support you and your business. So when you find a brokerage that may have a high monthly fee or even a high commission split, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, really sit and think about what actually goes into all of those fees. Are you going to maximize all the things that they're giving you in order to get the most bang for your buck? Or do you feel like you're not going to use a lot of those things? Those are things to really take into consideration when you're looking for a broker. At the end of the day, it's all money, right? When you do finally find a brokerage, you're okay with their monthly fee if they have one. You're okay with their onboarding fee if they have one. Then you have to actually pay to join your national and local boards. So when people talk about the MLS, the multiple listing service, they're talking about that service where realtors can go on and upload their listings. We can search through current listings, coming soons, expired, sold, all of that jazz. That is something that we actually pay to use. So joining a board allows you access to the MLS, but typically it also includes you joining the National Association of Realtors to be able to use the name Realtor. So there's a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. Everyone who is licensed is a real estate agent, but not everyone is a realtor if they have not joined the National Association of Realtors. Little tidbit of information. People typically use it interchangeably, but they are two distinctions. Joining those boards are not cheap. So when I joined my board, there were a few different options. There was an option to pay a monthly fee. There was an option to pay it all in one upfront, or I think there was also an option to pay quarterly. Now, again, there's two different boards. So you have your local board and you have your national board, and those are charged accordingly as well. Yet another fee. It can range from $50 to $60 a month to $1,500 yearly fee, or even more. It just all totally depends on your market, the board that you join, what the board offers you. There's a couple of different boards in my particular area. There's one that's in one county that's way more expensive than another county, et cetera, et cetera. You're gonna wanna make sure that you're doing a bunch of research and making sure that you're choosing the one that is best for you. Don't just go with what's popular. Don't just go with the cheapest option. Don't just pick the most expensive option because you think that's gonna be the best bet. Sit down and actually do the research to make sure that you're picking what's gonna be best for you and growing your business. So at this point, you've taken your class, you've passed your class, you've paid for your licensing, you've found a brokerage, you've paid your initiation fees, you've joined a board, you joined the National Association of Realtors or whatever national board that you choose to join. So you think, okay, I'm good, and now I'm ready to coast. All of the expensive ways that I'm spending money are behind me. False. So I mentioned earlier that when choosing a brokerage, you have commission splits, right? Commission splits really determine how much money you actually bring home. So when you sell a property, you get the check from that closing and you take that check directly to your broker, right? Your broker is then going to deposit that check and then they're going to cut you the difference in whatever it is that you made. So depending on what your commission split is, that's going to determine how much money you get to take home. So if you're on a 50-50 commission split, you're only making 50% of the money that you made. If you're on an 80-20, you make 80% of the money that you made. If you're on a 90-10, or if you're at a 100% commission, then you take 100% of your money home. But even that is not always the case, okay? Even if a brokerage says they're a 100%, they're still never truly 100%, okay? Reason being is because there are transaction fees, right? So in almost every transaction, I don't know if this is the same for every single state, but there's a certain fee that the buyer is paying to the brokerage for administrative record keeping. There's a number of different rules and regulations that brokerages have to oblige by, and paying this fee helps them to keep all of that running, right? So that can range as little as, I don't know, $195 all the way up to $800 or maybe even more. I don't know what other states charge for their transaction fees, but that is shown on your commission statement when you get that back. However, you don't get that money. That goes to your brokerage, depending on what your split is. Sometimes the brokerage, they'll split that transaction fee. So 50% will go to you and then 50% will go to the brokerage, because you are also doing a number of like record keeping and document retention and all of that jazz. So some people will send that to their transaction coordinator, or we don't have to really get into the woods and all the details of it. The point that I'm making is that everybody gonna eat, okay? Everybody is gonna eat off of your coins, all right? The biggest person that's gonna eat off of them, Uncle Sam. One thing about Uncle Sam, he wants his cut, baby. He wants his coins, he wants his dollars, he wants his dinero, okay? However you call it, he wants it, okay? So when you're a real estate agent, all of your money is 1099 contracted work, right? And because of that, your taxes are not taken out. Cha-ching! That's another expense that you have to think about. So what a lot of people will suggest is that as soon as you get a commission check, automatically take out 40%. Yes, you heard that right. Automatically take out 40% and put that in an account somewhere, put it up for taxes. I promise you, you're gonna wanna do that, okay? I got a 5-figure tax bill and I will never do that again. So now, personally, what I do is I pay my taxes. I pay an estimated tax per quarter so that I'm not in the position where come tax time, I have to write this giant 5-figure check. Like, makes me nauseous thinking about it. So breaking it up in small increments per quarter makes it a little more digestible and it's not as much sticker shock, you know? But either way, you're spending money, okay? If you are an agent that is going to be heavy on the buy side, you have to take into consideration travel costs. So how much does it cost to fill up your car? Cha-ching. What is your car insurance rates and premiums? Do you have enough coverage for if something was to happen to you on the job while you're actually working and driving and showing houses? Have you thought about all of the marketing materials that you may potentially need to procure on your own? Some brokerages will help you with your yard signs. They'll help you with your open house signs, things like that. Others, you are completely on your own with that cost. And that can get really expensive really fast depending on how fancy or how premium you want these things to be. I personally would say if you're gonna do it, do it right the first time and they can last you a long time, versus buying something really cheap on the front end and then you're gonna have to replace it frequently. You're gonna end up spending more money over time if you don't just invest on the front end. Personally, I say just spend that money. Cha-ching! So that's a pretty good overview of a lot of the expenses that you can expect being a realtor, especially in the beginning. Those fees add up really, really quickly, and a lot of people don't tell you about that. So a lot of people hop into real estate because it's a really low barrier of entry, to be honest. You know, it's not that expensive, especially in comparison to a 4-year degree. Speaking from a person who has a 4-year degree. I have a 4-year degree, but I ended up getting into real estate a few years after graduating undergrad. And I love it. I don't regret it, not one bit. I'm so happy that I did go to college. A lot of my closest friends are friends that I met in college. So everybody has their different way, their different path, and how they get into real estate. But that brings me to my next topic of building confidence in real estate, especially coming from a background that had nothing to do with real estate. So if you're interested in figuring out, what do I do now? I'm licensed. I have a couple of clients. I have a couple of prospective leads of people who want to work with me. How do I really build my confidence and feel like I can actually do this? We'll talk about that in the next video, so make sure you hit the link right over here to check that out. But in the meantime, in between time, I want to remind you that you, yes, you are pure gold, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? Promise? Cool. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.